people are hopping on. I'm just going to give it a little bit longer because there should be more. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 9 total who have signed up for today. So I'll just give them a couple of minutes of grace period so they can hop on. Welcome to those of you who are here on time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Okay. Well, oh yeah, there's a few more. Okay. Perfect. Oh, you guys, I'm so excited for the work that we're going to be doing today. It's going to be really powerful. I hope you're prepared.
So interesting it was the last month, and
Yes.
I totally spaced it, but that night I had the most beautiful just descend of cloud of love and attunement and alignment, and I was like so expanded. It was just
Yay.
amazing. Then I realized what it was from.
You're like, what's happening? Oh, yeah. I signed up for that.
Some new
Yeah.
angels or something. What?
Yes, in a way, yeah, it's divine energy. It is very angelic. So I love that you felt it even despite not being able to attend or being physically present. But I say that for everyone. So those who, if there are people who don't show up physically today, they're still going to receive the energy work. They're still going to get the clearing. They're still going to get the activation. They just won't have the conscious awareness of, okay, this is what I'm specifically working on, what I'm clearing, and what the activation entails. But they're still going to receive it. A lot of the time we actually, now there's 2 sides to this. One side is that we don't always need the conscious awareness and the understanding to do energy work. We can, a lot of the times it can be overwhelming to the conscious mind. That's why some people will even fall asleep during Reiki sessions or really intense clearing and healing. Oh, there's one more coming in. And on the other side of things, when it comes to clearing specific blocks, it's really important that we do have conscious awareness, because that conscious awareness makes us able to address it and to take new action. So 2 sides of the coin there. For today, we're definitely going to want to do the conscious version as much as possible. Okay. I'm sorry I'm sitting outside. I'm just reading a comment here from Nancy. I'm sorry I'm sitting outside without light and can't show myself without looking flashlight. No, no worries, Nancy. Hello. That's okay. That's totally fine. Yeah, you don't, if for those of you who don't have your cameras on, that's totally fine. You don't have to do that because it's not necessary, as long as we can hear and speak to each other throughout the personal clearing. And if you don't even want to speak on camera, that's fine too. I will just channel what comes through for you. And you can always email me afterwards or comment in the chat, whatever you prefer. So it's all about how you guys would like to do this, because it's for you. This is all for you. So let me just see, how do I close the chat bubble? I've got it open now. Oh, there we go, close. Okay, I can open that back up if I need to. All right, so we've got just about everyone here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, we're only missing one person. So let me just check who that is. And then we'll get started. Oh, it's Sashana. Okay, and I've worked with her before. Done lots of Reiki and Akashic and all sorts of things with her. So if she's not here right now, I can always email her after. Okay, so welcome to this month's group energy work session, focusing on clearing blocks to unconditional love. So what we're going to be doing is working at the heart chakra level, and we're going to be clearing anything that is blocking or holding you back from embodying more of that divine love energy. So I will be going around the circle and addressing each person individually. We'll work for about 10 minutes. That's my goal, so that we don't go extremely long in this session. For about 10 minutes on each individual, and we're going to be doing specific clearing at the heart chakra for you. And then at the end, once everybody's received the clearing, we're going to go ahead with the activation. So the activation has been channeled to me, and it's concerning, of course, divine love. So what we're doing is anchoring that in. Now, I was given warning that this particular group energy work session is going to be transformational. It's going to be intense. So prepare yourselves now. If there's crying, that's totally acceptable and actually encouraged, because when we cry, we release. We have to feel it to heal it, especially when we're doing heart chakra stuff, because it's very sensitive and emotionally charged. And that's perfectly all right. So this is a safe space for that. Yes, Stephanie. You're on mute too. And I thought you were raising your hand like question. Okay.
Don't drive people, apparently.
What's that, Alex?
Don't do the activation while you're driving.
Yes, if you're driving or you're operating heavy machinery. Shane, I see you're in a car. Hopefully you're not moving because this is going to be, not ideal for that. Thank you, Alex. Very accurate. And it's so nice to see you guys here. Some of you I know through my YouTube channel, through Instagram. Some of you I've worked with before. So thank you all so much for being here and being open to receiving this healing and activation. So, one last thing before I jump into the grounding and then the individual healings. What I was shown also was that we have a lot of animal guides with us today, which I wasn't expecting. So I kind of sat down and I was preparing myself, doing my grounding and clearing and making sure my space was set up. And all of a sudden, all these animals started coming in. So I'm like, okay, the more the merrier. If the animals would like to support us today, feel free to join us. I always welcome any angels, guides, anything that's here for our greatest and highest good and the greatest and highest good of the group. Now, the animals that have made themselves known so far are horse, bear, swan, and hermit crab. So there's probably more than that. And each one will have a specific spiritual essence that they're bringing to the group to support us. So horse really speaks to me of power, strength, and the ability to move quickly. They're also very sensitive and very gentle creatures, by and large. Bear speaks to me of protection, abundance as well, and the ability to tune into the natural rhythms of life. That just came through as well, because they go through that hibernation and then being out and about. The swan is a very delicate, very heart-centered energy, so I'm actually not surprised the swan is here. So this is helping us to go with grace through these clearings that we're going to be doing and activating that unconditional love in. And then hermit crab, I think, is great because it's one that I don't normally work with. I've seen it once before in a client session, but it's all about growth. So we're moving from one shell to the next. We are growing. We need to let go of what no longer is serving us and might even be constricting us so that we can move into the next phase. So I love that. And then last thing, I was also guided to grab my Moldavite crystal. So if you guys are not familiar with Moldavite, it's very, very intense. So Moldavite is an activator. Oh my gosh, you have Moldavite there. Everybody grabs their Moldavite. Yes, I love it. Perfect. Yes.
I don't know if it is. It looks like it. I think
it does look like Moldavite. That's a huge one. If that's, yeah, because Moldavite is.
Is that green?
Green, yes. So I use it for multiple of different purposes. Sometimes it is heart chakra connected. It's very grounding, but at a higher dimensional level. So we're not grounding. It's not very grounding in the physical aspect like tourmaline or something more anchoring would be. It's a higher level, almost cosmic anchoring. And I love that this is here today because it's green, so it's connected to the heart chakra by default. And it's also that higher anchoring of divine love that we're seeking. So we're going to anchor that into our earthly being and express that through earthly humanistic love, but we're going to anchor that activation to divine love so that we can access more easily that vibration or that frequency. Okay, I think that's everything I had to say. So let me just go ahead. I'm going to light an incense. It's actually something I haven't done in a long time, and I've been called to do for this session, was to light my heart chakra incense. So just working that in as well. It's all heart chakra. We got so many layers to this. And I even have my mug that says, follow your heart. Perfect for today. All right, guys. So I'm going to work my way down the list. Actually, Alex, I know that you messaged me earlier and you said that you had to jump off at some point. So would you like to be one of the or the first who would receive the clearing work once we get into that?
Sure.
Yeah, just so that if you need to go and then come
I'll
back.
be crying next to a swimming pool as my son swims back and
Does
forth.
laps.
Don't do
Oh.
it! Ah!
Well, hopefully it won't be too, jarring for you to kind of transition from one thing to the next and then back. Okay, so before we get started with the personal clearing work, let's go ahead and do a group grounding. So we want to make sure that we're nice and anchored into our physical bodies and environment so that we feel safe to do the sacred work that we're about to do with the clearing and the activation. So I'm going to guide us through a group grounding meditation. So feel free to close your eyes and just take a moment to tune into your body, noticing your physicality and becoming very present with the physical being that you are inhabiting and creating. So let's start at the bottoms of the feet. Just going to bring our focused attention to the soles of the feet and just notice what they feel like. You might get a tingling sensation start to arise there as you bring your focused attention to that location. You might simply just become more aware of the fact that you have feet. There's no wrong way to do this. And we're going to start moving up the body. So just bringing our focused awareness to the ankles, to the shins, up to the knees. Just noticing what it feels like to have knees. And then up to the thighs. Noticing any subtle movements or changes. Just observing and feeling. Moving up to the hips now. And the hips tend to store a lot of emotion in them as well. So if you feel called after today's session to do some hip stretches, that would also support the release and the clearing. And as we clear room, we open up space for that activation to come in. So let's move up into the lower abdomen. Just noticing your belly as it rises and falls as you intake breath. Moving up into the upper abdomen, the diaphragm area. Noticing the sensations here, being present with that area of the body. Moving up to the chest. This is where we're going to be doing the work today. So let's bring extra special attention to this area. Really noticing and observing and feeling as our chest rises and falls, as we breathe in and out. Noticing any sensations in that area, if there's heaviness, if there's tightness, if there's tingling, fluttering, if there's pressure or heat or cold, just noticing. Good. Now let's bring ourselves up into the shoulders. And moving down the hands, down the arms, down to the hands, which are an extension of the heart chakra. So we have individual palm chakras as well within the system. And we can turn on the energy flow from the heart to the hands at will. And we're going to move up now into the throat, to the bottom of the jaw, up the front and back of the head, and all the way to the crown chakra right on the top of the head. Now, just hold that presence here for a moment at the top of the head. I'm going to start bringing in the energy. So I'm going to start just expanding the circle. So I'm bringing energy in through the crown chakra, down around the head, almost like a spotlight on top of the head. If you're sensitive to energy, you may feel it, but not feeling anything is not a bad sign. Everybody's different. So just bringing that light down onto the top of the head and all around and expanding out to fill the room that each of us are in. Okay, so we're just creating that sacred space there and feeling ourselves connected to that energy and to our bodies. Perfect. All right, good work, everyone. Thank you for that. How is everybody feeling so far? Good, good. Lots of thumbs up. Okay, great. So I'm going to get started. I'm actually being called to Stephanie first. So I'm going to start with you, Stephanie, so you can unmute yourself, and then I'll go to Alex. All right. So I'm just going to start connecting at soul level with you, Stephanie. And bringing in that energy at the heart chakra level. Okay, yes, we definitely have some clearing here to do. It feels like grief. And it's got that density to it where it wants to come up and out the mouth. So whenever I feel that, it's grief that's been there for quite a while. So it needs to almost be expelled, like when the body feels a toxin in the stomach and it wants to throw up. It's a visceral physical response that the body's trying to protect you by excreting that. So that's what we're going to do energetically. So just try to relax and open yourself up. You are safe, you are loved, you are protected. Okay, so let's dig deep and get some of that grief. Yeah, this goes way back. I'm seeing cords kind of going out through the back and down and out. And there's multiple sort of almost bands to it, like it's forking or shooting off like that. And so there's different layers to this. I see there's different people on the other end of these grief strings, if we call them that. Okay, so the first thing that I'm seeing here is that connected to one of the grief strings is a man. And so his soul, his higher self, an aspect of himself is coming forward. And this process is going to help with the release of some of this grief. So he's coming forward to, it feels like, I want to say an apology, but it's not so much about the fact that he's done anything wrong. It's more so the result of what happened is what he's kind of trying to show me. So the impact that this had on you. And so he's asking for your forgiveness.
Yes.
Do you understand who I'm talking about?
There actually could be a number of people who this could describe, as you can see. So,
yeah, there was multiple strings. This one individual, I'll try and describe him from what I can see. Okay. It's interesting. He's right as you said that, I was like, he's an older man.
yeah, he's my dad, Bob. I forgive you, Dad.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. So let's just send that forgiveness through that one particular cord out to your dad, Bob. And so that's connecting to his heart chakra. And as you're doing that, it's like the cord is kind of dropping off. So the attachment is no longer there. The connection to those that we love will always remain, but the attachment doesn't need to be there. Perfect. Okay. That was really the biggest one, and that was the one that was drawing the most energy. There's 2 other medium-sized ones and 1 other small one. So there's 4 cords in total that I'm seeing. For the medium-sized ones, I'm not seeing people attached to the other side. They're there. I'm just not seeing them. It's like they're behind a curtain. So they're not wanting to be with us at soul level today, which is fine. We don't need their participation to clear this. So we're just going to hold space for you to do what you need to do, Stephanie. To release and let go. And these ones feel actually, the other one was forgiveness out. This one is forgiveness in. So this feels much more, these 2 medium-sized cords feel like self-forgiveness. So tuning into that in regard to those people, whether or not you know who they are, I don't know who they are because I can't see them, but the energy of self-forgiveness is needed. So perhaps they instigated you to make choices that denied your own needs.
Okay. I understand who they are.
Okay.
And they're forgiven. I lay my part down. I thank them for the lessons they taught me, and I'm ready and willing to let it go.
So what you're needing now is forgiveness of the self for allowing these situations to unfold and even to continue long past their expiration date is what I just heard. So let's hold compassion for you, for the choices, the actions, the interactions that you had with those individuals, and all of the results of those experiences. Let's just hold compassion for those versions of you that did the best they could with the information that they had at the time. And let's project that energy backwards as well, because I feel like there's layers of versions of you that are needing this forgiveness. So it's not just you now, it's also younger versions or previous versions of you that came before. Yes. So they really are needing that self-forgiveness because they're holding on to, it feels like guilt or shame. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's send some love and compassion and forgiveness to those past versions of self that you've been. Just really acknowledging what they felt at the time. That's the most important thing, is that we acknowledge how they felt, because if we can understand and hold empathy for the experience, then we can have compassion for the actions, even if they weren't the most aligned or the most beneficial at the time. Good, there we go. Okay. There it goes. All right, finally that got released out. And then we've got that one last one left, much smaller, and it's much more, what's the word, vague almost. The other two were quite thick cords, and this one's very thin and almost etheric is the way that I want to describe it. It's almost transparent. That's the word I was looking for, transparent. So this one, I'm interested to see. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I'm seeing it go towards, this could have been an imaginary thing, or it's like a little teddy bear or something. Does that make any sense to you? Because I don't know what to make of that.
Not necessarily a teddy bear, but my animals. I feel like two pieces of my soul incarnated to come and help me through really difficult times.
Okay.
Undeniable, undescribable connection with a cat and then a parrot.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
would they present?
I'm not sure. I've never connected with crossed over animals before.
I just miss them so terribly that I do the best I can to let it go, and then I'm fine for a while, and then boom, the grief comes back.
Okay. So the grief is love with nowhere to go. That's all it is. It's love that's stuck. So when we have grief, we need to express that love. We need to find an outlet for it, whether it's something that represents that animal. Oh, that's where the teddy bear comes in. It's like a totem or a surrogate.
My security, yeah.
Yeah. And so you can have an inanimate object that represents the connection to those animals and to those souls. That's why the cord was etheric in nature, is because it's something that you're doing at the level of the soul and the mind. So it's much less physical, but also because I'm assuming those souls have crossed over.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's because they're no longer in the physical. That makes sense. All right. So we would need to basically move that grief to this surrogate. So if you have something that could represent those animals, it might be a little toy or a pillow even would do. Anything around you that's immediately within arm's reach would be great. But we can even just do this psychically. We don't have to have a physical object per se.
Oh, how about a rhodochrosite?
Perfect. Heart chakra as well.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so let's move the grief, i.e. the love that needs somewhere to go, to that surrogate. So just expressing all of the gratitude that you have stored in your heart for those two souls, for all of the love and the joy that they brought you, and all of the love and the joy that you shared with them. Just allowing yourself to feel that as if it's occurring in the present moment. And then moving that out through the hands into the figurine. Good. There you go. Okay, so as it's moving, I'm seeing that cord starting to dissipate. Good. Okay. The animals are still around you. I'm not an expert at connecting with animal spirits, so it's not my area, but I do feel all souls, and I know that they're still around you. And anytime that there's a love connection, anytime that there's a bond between anyone and anything, it sticks around, even when the transition occurs. So at that mental level, telepathically, you're still connected. They still keep an eye on you, check in and kind of check up, see how you're doing.
Nothing's off the counter.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe brush up against your leg, the cat, or, you hear the birds and it's your parrot. So they're there. And that energy just needed somewhere to go. That's all, because it was just stuck in there. Okay, it's feeling much, much better now. So I'm just going to finish up here. We've cleared some really nice space to let that activation in. And so I'm looking forward to bringing that through. All right. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you. Thanks, Siobhan.
And I'll have space for questions at the end, just in case, just so you know. Okay. All right. So, Alex jumped off. Okay. Well, he'll catch it again when he comes back in. I just always listen to Spirit. We have a plan, and then Spirit's like, nope, we got to do this. I'm like, okay. I trust you. All right. So I'm just going to tick off as I go along so that I don't forget. So Stephanie, check. Okay, so Shauna's not here, so we'll skip. And then Alex has left and he'll come back. Okay, so next up is David.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't think I know your name yet. I just know you by ToKittyandBeyond, which is a wonderful name.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. For those of you who don't know what my actual first name is, feel free to call me ToKittyandBeyond if you want, but my name is Siobhan. It's Siobhan.
Siobhan?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry
Nice
about
to meet
that.
you, Siobhan.
Nice to meet you too, David. It's so funny because I had a client yesterday whose last name was Salazar. And I, for some reason, I thought that he was the one who had joined the group. And I mentioned that to him. He said, oh, no, I saw it, but I didn't sign up because I wanted to do the soul realignment full session. And I went, oh, that's interesting that two Salazars are back to back. And he said, and then he said, my brother's name is David. And I'm like, I wonder if you're related. I don't think you guys actually are. But
maybe not, but I mean, it's good to see that little synchronicity right there.
I know, that's what I wanted. That's why I wanted to mention it, because I just thought that was interesting. And whenever there's little crumbs like that, there's always something that Spirit's trying to say. So,
Sure.
Okay, so wonderful. So let's go ahead and tune in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to start tuning in at soul level. Okay. First thing I get as soon as I connect to you at soul level is a major rushing in the feet area. So like lots of root chakra energy going on here. It's like it's swirling around the bottom of the feet. And I feel a tightness, a clasping in the chest area, right in where the heart would be, but it feels very much almost like fear. I would actually register this as anxiety. And if all of that swirling energy in the root chakra is disproportionate, that can actually lead to us being ungrounded. So not to get too personal, but do you struggle or have you experienced anxiety?
Yes, yeah, a lot throughout. I think it may have came out of fear. A fear has been one of the big ones in my life that I had to battle with. So it may have came out of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm picking up just at that frequency level. It's ungroundedness. It's fear. And fear is very ungrounding. When we feel fear, our knee-jerk reaction is to disconnect from the body. So at a psychological level, we call this dissociation. So the mind, as a protective survival mechanism, will disconnect from the present moment. But at a soul level, the same thing is occurring. So the soul will quite literally step out of the body because it doesn't feel safe to be present in that moment in the physical. So it doesn't go far and it's still connected, but it's not fully embodied. And so that can actually increase or exacerbate the fear, because now we're not embodied either. And we can feel or sense that our soul is kind of disconnected. And so there's fear that can come from that. So we can feel like we're abandoning ourselves. So what we need to do is to connect those two back together, you and your soul self, so that you can feel safe being united as one and grounded into the physical body. That relationship is so important. And the reason it's coming up in this heart chakra work is because if you're disconnected from yourself and you feel that you need to or have abandoned yourself as a form of survival, the relationship has been damaged in a way. And so we need to repair that by reconnecting through love and compassion and understanding that, yes, there may be fear, but you can get through it together. That's the most important thing. And so let's start by clearing some of this fear and getting you nice and grounded. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of root chakra work here as well, because that's necessary to anchor so that you feel safe, so that you can open your heart. Because if we don't feel safe, the heart just shuts right down. That's not even an option, because we're just focused on survival at that point. And if our base level foundation isn't met, we're not going to worry about the higher tier chakra needs. We're just not. So let's go ahead and start with the root. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Ooh, it's dense. It's dense down here.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Oh, trust me, I've seen it all. No judgment from me. I understand. So when I see something like this, I actually get excited. Hear me out. The reason why is because I'm like, ooh, we're going to do a lot of transformation today. So the bigger the block, the more opportunity for transformation to occur. So that's how I choose to look at it from my perpetual optimistic perspective.
Yes, no, that's good. And just to kind of like put a little input on basically where this is coming from, what I think as well is me not having a connection to my family and opening up on this spiritual level to them.
Yes. Yeah.
So that connection for long. I mean, now I'm finally coming into myself and being able to be myself around them. And if they think whatever they think, it doesn't bother me as much. But for a long time, it was like, kind of, I had to keep my distance with who I really was.
Yes.
So I guess that fear of not being my authentic self, or maybe being judged from that authenticity, may have something to do with it. That
makes a lot of sense, especially since the root chakra is connected to our tribe, because we're social creatures. We require connection to feel safe. When we're isolated, we often are more at a loss in terms of how to survive when we're completely disconnected. So we need that connection as a form of survival and support. So that actually makes a lot of sense, right? And so we can have compassion for that part of you that feared being your authentic self. And also understand that when you repress or hold back or disconnect from that version of you, the real authentic expression of you, it's also a form of self-abandonment, because we're saying that version of me isn't worthy. I need to perform in this certain way to be accepted. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You're doing it for connection, for survival. Or you're isolating yourself to keep yourself safe so that you can be authentic, but then you're losing out on the connections. So, what do we do?
So it's been a hard one for me.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're on it, because it's been a tough one for me. And I know it's a root chakra challenge, but I'm working on it, but I'm glad that it came up today. Yeah.
To every problem, there is an equal and opposite solution. So if we just flip it on its head, if you're needing connection, the first place that you want to go is connection with the self. It's the most important thing, especially when we're talking about the heart chakra. It's our relationship with self and others. The others are an extension of the self. And so when we connect with the self, we can have more authentic and intimate connections with other people. If we're disconnected from ourselves, we can be physically around other people, but we're still going to feel a sense of disconnection. There's not going to be real authentic intimacy because we're not allowing ourselves to fully be who we are and be loved from that place. So let's go ahead and do some more clearing here. So as we've been talking, I've been shifting or trying to clear as much as I can out of that root chakra to get a real nice solid base for you to kind of plant your feet down and feel really nice and anchored and secure. And it's better now. It's not quite as, when I feel ungrounded energy, it's quite literally, it's like almost like a vortex under the feet, and it starts to swirl. And it's like I start to feel kind of dizzy and nauseous and like it's just like being on a tilt-a-whirl. It's very disorienting. And so being grounded is physically being grounded and feeling like you're plopped in one spot and you're safe there. You're good. The world isn't thrashing around you, you know? So now that there's more of a secure base, I'm going to invite you to anchor yourself. Because even though we did that grounding exercise, that might have not felt safe for you, having this root chakra be the way it was. So we're going to do a regrounding for you now, just energetically. There we go. Okay, good. So now those roots are going down and out, creating a nice, solid, stable base upon which we can grow. There we go. Okay, that's much better, feels much safer. So now let's move into the heart chakra. Okay, I've got to go slow here because that fear is it's been around for a while. So I don't want to rush it. I don't want to force it. I'm just going to be really, really gentle. And I see a much, much younger version of you at the core of that fear. I would say looks to be about 3 years old. Was there anything particular that happened at the age of 3 for you that you can remember? I know that's pretty early for memories.
It's crazy, but it's like I would say 4, but it might have happened when I was 3. In my memory, it's 4 years old. And yeah, it was I used to live with my aunt, and she was spiritual, but kind of on the darker side. And she could kind of, I guess, entertain herself off of us being scared. And I remember a real traumatizing experience off of, The Exorcist. I think I saw that movie when I was that age. And like really, so there was like really intense fear at that young age. And yeah, I know that's like how can I say, a place in my life where a lot kind of came up, where that I had to deal with later in my life.
Okay.
Now that I touch back on the traumas. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's that core. And it's funny because I was gonna say 3 to 4, and then I was like, well, I'll just say 3 in general. So 4, okay. This actually makes a lot of sense, right? If you're exposed to that kind of fear, that's very traumatic at that age. You're not meant for that, especially as a sensitive soul, which I just want to tell you, you are. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a strength. I see sensitivity as a strength because you can perceive more than you would if you were less sensitive. So you've got that extra awareness, and that can give you the ability to not only understand yourself at a deeper level, but also to meet others at that frequency as well. So as a sensitive soul, being exposed to that kind of material is extremely traumatic. And I can't watch scary movies at all. So I totally get it, like not at all. I don't understand how people can. All the power to them if that brings you happiness, but my God, no, not me. So that version of you, that child self is there. And I see him almost like he's crouched up and holding his legs and just trying to protect himself from all of that fear, especially through the relationship. So that was a breach of trust from your aunt too, because she kind of instigated that. So let's go ahead and connect to little David and give him lots of love and support and nurturing so that he feels safe. Okay, and he needs you, is what he's saying. He needs you, the adult you, to help him out going forward. So we're going to help with the energy today to get him sort of feeling more relaxed in general. But there's going to be times where that fear might be triggered again, and it'll come back up, and he needs you to be present with him through that. So if you can visualize him there inside you at around the age of 4, and just acknowledge his fear as it presents itself through you, just acknowledging that you feel it, that it's real. It may not be connected to anything physical, but it feels real. And therefore it's true. And as we acknowledge that and hold space for that innocent young child you who did not deserve to feel that way, he starts to trust that he'll be taken care of, protected, and safe, even through the fear. So as you move forward after this group work session, just try to notice when that fear arises and what he needs. And speak to him in a language that a 4-year-old would understand. Like, hey, buddy, I feel that you're really afraid right now. I get it. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. You're safe. We're going to get through this. That's all he needs. It's just a little bit of support and compassion. Because it also feels like he had to stuff his feelings. So he kind of shut down. Okay. You're doing great. So as he's feeling safer, he'll also want to play. That's really important in repairing from the fear. We need to incorporate play. So as he starts to feel safer, allow him to come out and play. And remember, this is through you now. So you've got to allow yourself to play again. Because when we experience that level of fear, we're not regulated. Our nervous system is dysregulated. And when we're dysregulated, we don't play. Children play when they're safe, when they feel safe. So now, kind of need to reestablish that connection so that you can get back to play again. So whatever you enjoyed then, maybe it's different than what you enjoy now. You don't have to go play with blocks or something like that if you don't want to, but find something that you enjoy doing that's play now. It could be video games, it could be painting, it could be going outside and running around, whatever it is.
I'm sorry, excuse me. My nephew. Hold on, video. Sorry, I apologize for that.
No, that's quite all right. So just incorporate more play. That's what he's needing. That's going to help a lot. So the grounding first, making sure that he feels safe. Oh, let me just let Alex back in. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So we're almost done here, David. It feels a lot better. Yeah, it's so much more grounded and anchored. A lot of that energy has been released. There's still a little bit that's left, but that's where that play is going to come in and help to repair that long term. So just incorporate that more and connecting with that inner child. That's really, really important based on, the specific block that you had going on there. But most of that is cleared and he's feeling a lot safer. He's not fully in the, okay, let's go play mode right this second, but I can feel that he's relaxed. Like even his body language and his posture has shifted. So that's good. All right, so just going to finish up here. And he also needs to hear that he's doing a good job. because I just heard the prompt tell him that he's doing a good job. So remind yourself that you're doing a good job. That's really important because that's
This morning when I woke up, this hand felt numb, and I just went like this when I was trying to make a fist.
Where is that coming from? Oh, let me just, sorry. Okay.
I think all the kids are coming through around this time, huh?
That's so funny because I'm like, where is that coming from?
Including my child self, yeah.
Yeah, your child self came through, and then now there's a child on the. Nothing happens randomly, so
yeah, that's
good.
cool.
Your child self is acknowledging. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, David.
Yeah, thank you as well for identifying that for me, and I definitely, well, I think we did some good work too, but I won't be turning a blind eye to that anymore. Or, like it validated a lot for me because I kind of really had a sense that was deep in there. Today, kind of like, yeah, that one's a good one.
Sometimes that's all you need is just a little confirmation and validation that, this is real. It does need your attention, because it can feel, doing inner child work can feel very like, am I just making this up? Am I just like talking to myself? And we can doubt ourselves that way, but it's very real and it's very necessary and it will transform you.
Yeah,
in a big way.
It was like a realization for me today. Like, yeah.
They're there. They're right there. They don't go anywhere. We're just like Russian nesting dolls. We just kind of keep growing more and more, but that version of us is still in there. So it needs attention and love, most importantly. All right, awesome. So, okay. Oh, no worries, Alex. He just typed in the chat. Sorry for the interruption. No, it was perfectly timed. That inner child. Alex, are you ready to do it now, or would you like to wait until later? Just find out if this is a good time, because I know that he's got other things going on today. Oh, and I can't see if you're in the chat. Alex? I can wait a few. Okay. Okay. All right. So let me just close that chat again. All right. So Madeline. That's so funny. I didn't even look. I have a list in order of how everybody or when everybody signed up. And I just knew that you were going to be next intuitively. And then I look over at my chart and yeah, you are next. Literally, you're on the list as next. So that's so funny. I love that. All right. So I'm just going to, oh no, you are unmuted. Okay, perfect. Okay, so are you all set? Yeah, okay, let's go ahead. I'm just going to start connecting now. Okay. Now, it's beautiful, your heart. Have you been doing a lot of energy work?
That actually was like I'm sorry, I have a hard time. That was actually my focus. I actually went and got adjusted by a chiropractor, and she does energy work too.
Oh,
and she
perfect.
said I just released something very large in the back, and there's some resistance in the front. So I've been doing a lot of heart chakra work this month. Like that's kind of, July is all about my heart.
I love it. And I can see it. It's working. That's great. I know. I love that. I have those in the back as well. I just need to hang them up. Love it. Yes, I can see that. First of all, the energy around the front of the heart chakra is really expanded out. It's kind of like this. The back is really big. So the energy there is even bigger than the front. So whatever she released out the back was fantastic because it really opened things up there. So yes, here's a confirmation and validation that her work there was successful. And now there's less work for me to do, which is great. But let's still do any additional clearing, so we can open up just like a little bit more space. We're not doing major decluttering here. We're just kind of reorganizing a little bit. So let's go in and do that. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's like I'm seeing a dove. I'm gonna write that down as well as one of the animals. Dove.
I'm a big Prince fan too, and I kind of channeled Prince a little bit, and he loves doves, so that's
Oh, no way.
yeah. He's like,
I love, oh, no, there he is. I love that. I would never have made that association, but the dove was just there because I'm seeing it in front of your chest like that, with the wings open, like it's flying into the ray of sunshine, very heavenly type of energy. I love it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right. So let's see if there's anything else here. Okay. Yeah, that back chakra is going through a major upgrade. So I'm going to just move back there and help to do some of that work as well. So we're just going to move that along. It feels like there's a major transformation and shift going on here within the back of the center, which I associate the back of the heart chakra as to the will center. So this is our will and our ability to use our free will to use or to express the energy of the chakra. So divine love and unconditional love for self and others. So the front is the feeling. It's kind of more unconscious. We're less involved in that. We just feel things. But the back is when we're willing to feel, or we're willing to take action, or we're willing to interact. So I feel like this willingness is really opening up for you in a really big way. So you're anchoring into this new timeline, for lack of a better word, that is aligned very much so with divine purpose and divine service. Are you moving into some kind of a work yourself?
yeah, I've been doing a lot of work spiritually, and I started out doing oracle cards, which is how I found you.
Love it.
Doing them on YouTube, and I'm like, oh wow, and so of course I've been doing that work, and then I just became a Reiki practitioner and signed up to become a Qigong instructor.
Oh,
I
wow.
have a full-time, kind of corporate job that I've been with for a while, but I know that I'm getting prepped to step into, helping the collective, because we all need it.
Yes, you are, very much so. That's why they told me to specifically use the word timeline, because you're shifting from that corporate version to your light worker, basically, where you're in service to others and you're actually, that's your job type of thing. Because everyone can be a light worker, whether or not they do it professionally. But when I specifically see, and this is the back here, it's starting to form angel wings. And now this is not just like the angelic, fluffy white angel wings. What I see them is on light workers, usually they'll have like energy wings that come out. The reason being is because you're using your free will to be in service through unconditional love, through whatever. It can be through art, it can be through Qigong, it can be through Reiki, whatever it is. And so that's very common to see on light workers. And so yes, love that. So there you go, another confirmation for you.
Need like 500 million confirmations and validations, apparently. So thank you.
Especially in the transition stage. Yes, there's going to be doubt. There's going to be hesitation. There's going to be resistance. But you are on the right path. You're doing what you need to be doing in terms of what feels most aligned for you and most empowering for yourself and others. So thank you for stepping up. I know how uncomfortable it can be. I've been there. I'm here doing this. So obviously, I've been through that fear tunnel of, oh God, what am I doing?
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you. Okay, let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, I'm just going to give you a little boost, just a little bit more of an encouragement to help you. Yeah, just kind of right in that nice direction. Really nice and easy, with as little resistance or a need for, hard effort as possible. We're just going to make it really nice and easy and graceful. And for anybody here who likes video games, because I do, and so that's the analogy they're showing me, is like when you're playing a racing game and there's like the particular strip on the track that you hit that propels you forward, makes you go faster. You could still go the outside of it and you could keep going at the speed you're at, but if you hit that one strip, it's going to propel you. And that's kind of what I was just shown this clearing work and the activation is going to do for you. It's just going to help to kind of propel you forward. You're still going to get there, irrelevant of whether we did this, but it's just a nice little boost. So why not? Awesome. Okay. Thank you so, so much. All right. All right. Next, what do we have next? Nancy. Nancy, there you are. Hello, hello. Yeah. Okay. So, are you all set for me to start connecting with the clearing?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to start now. All right. As soon as I tune in, I'm feeling it in the throat. And it's connected to the heart. I mean, they're neighbors, right? So they're right next to each other. They kind of share energy in that way. But it feels like the throat is not being expressed as much as it really needs to be. It feels like I don't know if this is your dominant energy or what, but it feels like there's a need to speak your truth for, more people to hear.
Mm.
And it doesn't have to be a large group of people. It can, it just needs to be straightforward and communicating and expressing your truth from the heart. And it feels like it's kind of been restricted in some way. Either you haven't been speaking your truth, or there's been external circumstances that have prevented you from feeling like you can authentically show up and communicate from the heart. Maybe you'll be misunderstood, or there's fear there, or there's people who are resistant. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So this is where the heart chakra is having a hard time with this, because you're essentially what holding that back is doing is not honoring and loving yourself and your own specific authenticity. Because as you hold back and shut yourself up, basically, it's not allowing yourself to be loved, not from other people. In this case, it's specifically from you. So, for example, if I don't speak my truth about something and I hold it back out of whatever circumstance or fear has arisen, a lot of the times I'll feel disconnected from myself. And that will end up showing up as me feeling resentment towards myself. You got to think the version of you that's in here and the version of you that's being you as you know yourself are kind of two different things, and yet they're the same thing. So when we don't express ourselves, we can feel resentment, even anger towards ourselves, because we need to get that out. We need to, not only just for the energy purposes of, getting it out so it doesn't ball up in the throat like it has, because it's causing, issues here, but also because when we deny our own authenticity, we're basically saying, I don't value that. Therefore, I don't love that. And it's by association that we make those connections, but it still results in the same feeling of being disconnected from the self, and maybe even abandoned, or that's where the resentment is, where I'm feeling here in the heart. It's like, I love you. You deserve to speak up. Why are you doing this? Why are you holding back? That kind of thing, So So let's get some of that energy in the throat. Let's just start moving that out. Oh, it's so interesting. As soon as I started putting energy there, it was like, oh, like it wanted to just sing out. It's so funny.
Like I've started yawning, but I didn't finish my yawn. The moment you said let's do something, so I was like, oh.
That's so funny. Yawning is actually a form of release as well. So whenever we're yawning, especially when we're doing any energy work like that, it's because we're energetically releasing. The body will physically, laughter, crying, and yawning are the three main ones that we release energy through. So, okay, back at it again. I'm just going in like piece by piece because I feel like I don't want to overwhelm you. Okay. Just a little bit at a time. But you have this beautiful voice that has been really like stuffed in a box and devalued, and that's not fair. It needs to be expressed. It needs to be said, even if whatever needs to be said is going to be uncomfortable. If it comes from the heart, then it's your truth. And it needs to be spoken. There we go. So as we're acknowledging that consciously, the heart chakra, it's like all that energy is kind of dropped down into the heart chakra. And now it's almost like it feels like a lead ball in the chest, like a hot lead ball. But that's not a bad thing.
I can feel the difference.
Because it's all stuck in here, and now we're dropping it into the origin, to the source of where the issue is kind of actually is showing up. It's the disconnection from self. And that's showing up as a symptom through not speaking your truth. So it's actually the core is the disconnection from the self. So we want to heal that at the root. And that will, by association, assist the symptom, or reduce the symptom. So I'm just going to go into that hot ball of lead, that dense energy right in the center of the chest. And I'm going to begin to transmute that. So what we're doing is okay. So we're going to do the violet flame. Yawning? Are you yawning? Good.
Mm-hmm. And crying, tearing.
That's okay. That's perfectly normal. Just let yourself feel and let yourself release. Okay, so I'm going in with the violet flame, very gentle and yet very powerful. So I'm just going to melt that lead.
Oh.
And it's interesting that the violet flame is about transmutation. It's alchemy. And lead turns into gold through alchemy. You have a golden heart. You have value here. Deep intrinsic value that cannot be separated out based on what you say or what you do. It just is. It's what you are. It's what you are. You are valuable. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to take up space. You deserve to be known for who you truly are. And how are people going to do that? How are people going to love you if you don't show them? If you don't show up as you, the real you? You have a beautiful golden heart. Let it shine. Good. There we go. So what was once like a fist-sized ball of lead, dense energy, it's now like this tiny little BB. What a difference. That's huge. And that BB is still there, but you're just going to release that. Now it's more digestible. So you can easily excrete that while it's being released. Good. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else here. It's so funny. Oh, no, that makes sense. Okay, so I heard Hail Mary, and I was thinking like Hail Marys as in like the religious sense, but then it said Hail Mary, Queen of Scots. And I'm not sure, like I'm not very good at history. So forgive me if I get this wrong. Maybe go research it afterwards. But didn't Mary, the Queen of Scots, get beheaded or something? Am I thinking of the wrong one? Shoot, I'm gonna have to look that up later.
I have
But
no clue.
yeah, I don't know either. But just the phrase "Hail Mary, Queen of Scots." So, not too sure, but I would recommend looking that up. It feels like it has something to do with the throat. So if she did get beheaded, that could have been why. So maybe it was because she was in her power and she was speaking her truth and people were like, nope. Something like that would make sense, but I'm not too sure. But it also feels like on the other side of things, when it's relating to the heart chakra, it feels like you deserve praise. You deserve for people not to worship you, because we don't want to be put on a pedestal. That's not an authentic connection where there's an intimacy that can be had. Because when people put us above themselves, we can never really fully connect. So, but what you do deserve is to be recognized for your power, to be honored and accepted for who you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But see, there's still that part that's like, yeah, I guess. But I know that there's the I have to, or I'm allowed to show myself more. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
like to hide.
I know, and it's okay. We all have that. So you can recognize there's two versions of you. The one that recognizes and honors the fact that you deserve to show up and be seen. And then there's the part of you that doubts that. Okay. So what I want you to do is just notice the fact that there are two. Have compassion for
Yeah.
the part that doesn't, and use the part that does to reassure the part that doesn't. So similar as with David reconnecting with his inner child.
Yeah.
And holding support, it's the same thing. You're just going to use those two parts and connect them together so that they can work together as a whole. Because the part of you that doubts really needs the reassurance from the part of you that feels that you do deserve to be seen and heard and honored. So just to blow that side up, really, feed that fire, let yourself build that up, and then nurture, nurture, nurture. Okay.
Okay.
It feels a lot
Thank you
better
so
in the
much.
chest. You're so welcome. Thank you for
It
showing
does.
up.
Even my shoulders and my neck feel better.
Because it was right in here, so it was pulling all the energy forward. So everything was coming forward like this, and even the posture of that is even hiding yourself, right? When we don't feel safe, we get small. So that was pulling a lot. Now it's like teeny tiny little baby, so it's not going to take up so much space anymore, and the activation will help to flush the rest of that out. So we don't need to get it all right this second, because it's just going to happen very naturally on its own when you're ready. Okay. Thank you so much, Nancy. All right. Okay, Shane, you're next on the list, and then I'm going to go to Alex, if that's okay. Alex, let me know if you're ready in about 10 minutes. If not, we can come back. We're going to make it work either way. Okay. Okay, so Shane, hello, nice to see you.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good.
We've worked together once before, just so everybody knows. So we're familiar. Okay. So Shane, are you ready?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So I'm going to start connecting now. Okay, interesting stuff. So as soon as I'm connecting energetically, it's like the head. Okay. It's like a figurine, almost like a bobblehead, where the head is really, really big and the feet are really, really big to stabilize and make sure that you don't tip over energetically. But there's this disproportion here, right? The head is the crown chakra, can be also the third eye as well. And then the root, the feet. So kind of blown up there, very exaggerated. So now I want to find out why that is, because it's very, very small in the middle, which is where we're trying to get to the heart chakra. So it's like, so what I want to do is start bringing some of that energy that's up here down, and some of that energy that's down there up, and get them to meet in the middle in the heart, because I feel like that's not happening. And so it's getting trapped in these two areas, and that's creating this sort of, it's like a duality that it's hard to get out of. So let's go ahead and do that now. I'm just going to start moving the energy from the crown down. Okay. So it's moving down, and I want to move when we get to the root, it's right at about the solar plexus right now. It dropped really fast down these first three. When we get down to the root, the reason it's all, blown up like that is because it's not actually releasing the energy. So the root is stuck like that, and it's taking on everything and just building up bigger, bigger, bigger. We need to let some of that out. So let's keep moving that energy down the body. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So as soon as I'm like getting down into the root chakra now, and my legs are starting to twitch because it's so dense. There's so much energy here. It's like really overblown. So these are overactive areas, overactive chakras. They can be underactive, they can be blocked, or they can be overactive and take on too much energy. Either way, it's not aligned, or it's not ideal, because too much or too little, either way, it's too much. So, all right, so I'm just going to basically like pop the bubble at the feet and get some of that draining out. So we want to release and release and release. It's almost like, popping a blister. I'm just letting that out so that it can start to heal. Oh yeah, there's so much drainage here that's happening. So this has been really stuck for a while. And this can show up in your daily life as kind of like holding on to things, having a hard time actually letting go. And especially as it relates to your safety, because we're down here in the root. And the crown is kind of taking on, so it's taking on information, but not actually ever really using it as much, because it's not being integrated or settling in.
Right.
It's not being translated to each of the chakras. It's just kind of sitting there. So because it can't be used until the root feels safe and is able to let go of what's no longer beneficial. So it's like it's like a hoarder. If you keep bringing new stuff into your house, but you're not getting rid of anything, you can't really use what you've got, because it's all just kind of all over the place.
Right.
So energy hoarder, kind of the same thing. Nothing wrong with it. It's totally, it is what it is. There's nothing to feel bad about here. It's just what's been working for you up until this point, but it doesn't work overall. So let's give you some new techniques to use that'll work a lot better for you.
For sure.
Okay, here we go. So now that the root is more opened and stabilized, I'm bringing that energy up into the body, and I can actually feeling it start to move. And it's like it's like a nerve that's been pressed on for too long, and so it's gone to sleep. And now all that, and when you take it back off and the energy starts to return, or the blood flow and all that, the nerve starts to reawaken, and it's like almost, it's like a tense feeling and rushing at the same time. That's what I'm feeling through the body as we're bringing that back in. And you may not be feeling any of this. That's totally fine.
My feet, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
So definitely, because that was that's the biggest kind of block, if I was to call it a block. So as we've released that, there's so much energy moving through the system now. All of those nerves are reawakening, which is good. So then now we want to lead it back to the heart chakra. So we want to get back into balance here by uniting these two polarities so that they can have harmony between the two. There. Okay, so merging them at the center, knitting those two frequencies together, creating a really nice, solid, stable communication and connection between above and below. There we go. I'm feeling rushing all over the place, like it's shooting up through the neck and the bottom of the chin. It's like through the arms, the legs are still kind of twitching a little bit. It's all over the place there, but it's good because the whole system needed a big sort of flush. The whole system needed a flush. Have you ever had energy work done before?
I guess prana clearing.
Oh,
I
okay,
think.
yeah.
Yeah. That was like April, the end of April, and then things kind of went crazy. It was so
Okay. Yeah. So after April, maybe
it was good though. It was
you
good.
initiated something and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
it was like, oh God, now I can't do it yet. So it's like a coping mechanism. Let's just shove it all there and right?
Thank
Because
you.
energy work can activate you. And if you don't have the tools to surrender to that process or to know how to work with it, can sometimes it can be a little disorienting. Let's just put it that way. So that's why it's really good to have a guide. So to work with somebody as you go through that, either it's the pranic, practitioner or whatever, anything really that's going to help to kind of keep you moving energy efficiently, because you're still kind of getting the hang of it, is what this feels like. And some of it's just been allocated to these areas where it's not super productive because they're not moving through the system. So
I've been told the crown chakra and I guess the third eye is important, I guess, to me anyways. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of energy up there. It was like a big balloon around your head like this. So there's so much energy there. That's great because you have this resource, right? If you actually integrate that information, oh my God.
So yeah, how do you do that?
Exactly. So we can do a little bit of it today, just by kind of not brute forcing it, but by energy, shifting that energy at that level. But it would be helpful for you to have some skills at a conscious level and some actual tools to be able to do this for yourself going forward. So this is something that if you want to, I would recommend a Reiki session, full Reiki session, and check-ins as you go along. Or if you gravitate more towards the pranic healing, then go back there and get that a little bit more frequently to help you to just learn to work with energy for yourself more efficiently, because you have all these resources, they're just not being integrated efficiently, and therefore you can't really use them all that well.
Right.
Yeah. So this would definitely benefit you to be able to learn how to do that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been told that I got to learn the lessons of love, and I figured the whole loving myself thing is something I should work on.
100%.
So it was really cool that this group session, I was like, yep, I got to do that one.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. We're not even halfway done yet. Well, actually, we're more than halfway done, but thank you so much, everyone, because the more that we hold space for each other as a group, it expands the energy exponentially. So, 2 people doing energy work isn't just 2 people's energy. It's like 3 or 4. And when we get 5 or 10 people together, it's like 40 or 50 at the energy frequency. So we really, when we do this in groups, it's so much more powerful because we are merging and combining and expanding our energy as one. So that's why when we work together, we can make things really transform. I love that. So, okay, let me just finish up here. Yeah, the big balloon that was there has shrunk down, so that's good. It's about half the size it was before. The feet are down to normal size and they're flushing energy out, which is good. That's what we want. Just being able to let go of what you don't need. You don't need to hang on to that. It would be like eating a bunch of food, digesting it, getting the nutrients, and then never going to the bathroom ever. It's not going to be great, right? It's not good. So very, very uncomfortable. And then you wouldn't really feel like you wanted to eat much anymore. So, okay, it's definitely better. I'm just going to do what I can here today. And
thank you.
We're going to, okay, so basically I'm putting almost like a merging of those 2 energies together. So knitting them together here in the chest. And I'm going to put almost like, so funny, it's almost like an anchor point. And it almost looks like a little energetic sort of magnet to hold them together. Cool. And and to help to attract that heart energy so that that self-love can continue to unfold as you go through this process. And so that's going to help to keep these merged so that they don't separate out and create that duality that you were kind of stuck in before. And that'll be helpful. And then when you don't need anymore, it just goes away. You don't need it. So yeah. Okay, it's just to secure it for the time being, just to hold it together. That'll make things flow better, because what flows together will naturally fuse. It's like same thing in the brain. Neurons that fire together wire together. Learned that in my neuroscience class. And it's the same thing at the energy body level, because it's anything at an energetic level is the same thing at the physical level. It's just parallel. So when we're merging these together, they're going to fuse, and they'll be able to do that on their own. But right now, the homeostasis has been separate. So we need to get them together. Okay. It's feeling better, little bit by little bit. Yeah, you have a lot of access to information up here, because this all feels like information. There's so much information that's up here, and it's almost like you haven't been able to use it because you haven't been able to ground it. So what this can actually look like in your life is having lots of ideas, lots of thoughts, but then not actually implementing them, or not really being able to kind of sort them out and, you know, prioritize.
Right. I procrastinate a lot. Yeah, I guess.
And it's all because it's all stuck in there. There's nowhere to go. So of course there's going to be resistance to taking action, because it has no outlet. It has no pipe to get it out of the system. So it'll be easier now and going forward.
Thank you.
To do that, I would recommend continuing to do this work so you can maintain this on your own, because this is like a tune-up for the car. But it's kind of like a quick fix. Like I'm duct taping it together. You know, like you should probably learn how to fix this so that down the line, it's not going to be, so, you know, the car's not going to break down on you or split in half. Okay. But this will hold for a bit until you're able to do that. Okay.
Okay. I have an idea.
Yeah.
It's okay. Sorry, go on. Sorry.
No, that's please.
That's okay. It's okay.
That's all right.
I'll think
You want to write it down later and then implement as you see fit.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay. So let me just check up and see. Yeah, it's better. Okay. Okay, so I'm just one last thing. I'm just gonna do a little bit here in the solar plexus as well, so that we make that bridge in the middle more more stable. Because if we've got 2 points of anchoring, it's going to make it easier, even more so. So I'm just going to do a little bit there as well. Put an anchor point here so that these two can connect and really fuse together, so that the whole system is aligned and you've got that vertical power current operating as it should. Because it's been quite small in the middle. It's like a little straw where it should be like a big pipe.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, that's better. And the solar plexus is connected to your ability to take action as well. So again, it didn't have an outlet for that. So this will help to start to implement how to prioritize, how to set goals, how to start taking action towards and implementing your ideas and the insights that you have. Because a lot of these ideas are not just coming from information you've learned. It's actually, the crown chakra is like downloads. You get big downloads of information from spirit, and it's inspiration. Some of the greatest inventors of our time and scientists and artists, they're all getting downloads, and then they're translating that or channeling it or building it or whatever they're doing. So that's you've got the capacity for that. Let me just tell you.
Thank you.
There's so much energy there. It's great. That's going to be a wonderful resource once it's really connected and anchored in that way. Okay, so that's pretty much done. And you're all set. That'll make it easier for you to receive the activation as well, because when they're connected, you're going to be able to move it through the whole body. All right. Okay.
Well, yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for remembering me. I've been meaning to get back to you. Lots have happened.
No worries. I can tell it's scattered, right? It's okay. I understand. I can see that it's just, there's a lot going on for you. And that's where that grounding and that alignment will really help. Even when things outside of you are chaotic, having a stable base and an aligned energy flow is going to make it a lot easier to get through that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Okay. So next, Alex, are you ready or do you want me to wait? Alex, are you there? Alex, can you hear me? Yes. Oh, yep. There you are. Yay. Okay. Are you ready? Do you want to do the clearing for yourself now? Okay, cool. All right, let's do it.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, good. My mic's spotty, so I
No,
apologize.
it's actually pretty good. It's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to start connecting now. Okay, so this is interesting. What we've got here, it's not like a full-on heart chakra block. It's like there's some residue at the lower bit. So it's kind of where the heart chakra flows down into the abdomen and that would connect to the solar plexus. So it's like, yeah, it's like this residue that's kind of dripping down and out. Now, whenever I see any kind of, I call it dross. So dross is anything in the energy field that's kind of denser than its natural state. And it can be from certain emotions or experiences, memories, whatever it is. It can create dross. And so it's like there's dross there. And it's kind of dripping down into the solar plexus a little bit because they're neighbors. Yeah, no, it's normal. I see it. You know, it's like your house gets dirty. You need to clean it every so often. It's totally normal.
Use some Windex.
We'll use some Windex on that dross in your heart chakra. Exactly.
You said to scrub that. Yeah.
Wax on, wax off. Laughter is a really great way to heal and clear as well. That's why I like to bring humor to things, because it helps to, it vibrates the energy at a higher frequency and it breaks it up so that we can move it out. So perfect. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do that. Oh, that's interesting. So I'm seeing, do you live near deserts? Or do you have any connection to deserts? Because I'm seeing like cactuses and I'm trying to understand.
I live in the Midwest, near Chicago. My dad spent the better part of the 70s out in Phoenix, Arizona, though.
Okay, yeah, because I'm getting like this desert. Maybe there's some connection there. I'm not too sure. I just saw the cactus and then I saw the desert and it was like an open desert road. And it's like you're driving on this paved road that's kind of like right in the desert. It's like you're driving through the desert. It's actually pretty cool. So this could be, it feels like residue. Now this is interesting because it doesn't, so it might be from your dad then if it's residue from that. So it could be something that kind of transferred over, because it feels like if you've never actually been there, it feels like that's his memory, but I've never seen a memory of someone else come out through the person it's not their memory. So
him and Mia were very close. He passed away about 12 years ago. But that was something that would be, when he would tell me stories, he would talk about that period of his life a lot. So
okay.
maybe it's something in my head, like I go to that sometimes, I don't know.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because I'm like, why would somebody else's memory be stuck in your heart chakra? That actually makes sense. If he told that memory to you, then it becomes your memory of his memory and it connects you to his energy. And the heart chakra
I've imagined, like when you read a story or something about it's when you get a book or hear a story with no pictures,
yeah.
you imagine what the person looks like or whatever, you know, and like, oh, I wonder if this was the scene for the story, you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Okay. So this memory is there in the heart and it's wanting to be acknowledged. It's not the dross. It's the energy connected to that memory that is kind of holding some more density to it. The memory itself is beautiful. It, like I'm looking at it and I'm experiencing it as as if I'm there, and I'm like in this old car driving down this patch of highway or this like 2-lane road, and all around is like this red dirt, and it's so beautiful, and there's cactuses and there's those big mountains. So yeah, it does feel like Sedona, or not Sedona, Arizona. And that is, it's a beautiful sort of free type of feeling. And I think that's what he actually wants to communicate to you, is the feeling of being on the other side for him is freedom. Freedom and exploration and adventure. Sorry, what's that?
He chose a hard life after my mother and my dad, my mother and I were all in a car and she was killed. I was 3 months old.
Oh.
And after that, it was like, he was a functioning alcoholic, and it was, he never laid a hand on me. He was a wonderful dad, but there was always this dark side of him trying to cope through all this stuff. And I think that's a big reason why he went back to that period of time, is because that's where he met my mother.
And it's where he felt the most like himself.
And that doesn't mean that you say like he's done, he's free. He's like, he doesn't have to worry about this stuff anymore. It's like, no, you don't. You know, and him and me have been cool. You know, it was really difficult, especially around that time of him being sick. He got cancer.
Yeah.
He just didn't take care of himself, and that's what ended up taking him, or chosen to be taken, I guess, and just get relief. So I think of him quite a bit, but not in like agonizing over or anything like that. Of just back to your, I definitely believe that he doesn't have to worry about stuff anymore.
Yeah, no, he's wanting to show to you that through this memory, because it feels very free. It feels very open and expansive and kind of more like almost at peace. Like you're just driving down the highway and it's very calm, very quiet, very peaceful, and very beautiful. Yeah. And so that's the energy that he's wanting to translate from the other side and communicate that to you, because it feels like that dross that was in here, and it almost looks like you know, something that you would like like a wine cork
or something,
where it's like this, like a T-shaped. It's kind of like a T-shaped plug like this in the heart chakra, and that's kind of going down into the solar plexus. So this residue is, I think, from the connection to the version of your dad that wasn't his best self. And he's wanting to rewrite that.
Broke up a little, sorry.
Oh, sorry. This block is a connection to the version of your dad that was not a great example of his best self, or of his real self, his authentic self. Okay. That was the wounded self, the traumatized self, the grieving self. And what he's wanting to do, I think, with bringing this memory forward, is to overlay that, to rewrite that story, and to bring it back to the version of him that he really resonates with the most, and that he wants you to remember him by. So I'm just going to go in. Yeah, I'm just going to go in and clear the dross, and then welcome in that memory and the energy that memory brings with it, along with his energy of love, because he also wants to, I think, bring in that energy to help to heal you as a way of kind of making amends for any other things that happened after things changed. Okay. So I'm just going in and cleaning up the dross, just vibrating it faster and faster and faster. Because this isn't actually something that needs to be removed. It actually just needs to, the frequency just needs to be raised. That's all. So we'll bring that frequency up so that when you have that memory come up, it's not kind of dragging you down. It's actually able to lift you up and get you closer to where he's currently at now, because he's currently up here now and we're down in the physical. So the closer you can bring yourself up to him, the more you can actually communicate energetically and telepathically, if that's something you're interested in. But through the heart is really important. Okay. There we go. So as the vibration is increasing, I'm starting to feel this warmth in the chest, and it starts to expand out like that. So that's a good indication that the frequency has shifted and it's rising. And so that little bit of heaviness is no longer going to be an impediment to the activation of the divine love that we're going to be doing in a couple of minutes here. So I want to see if there's anything else. Yeah, he just keeps taking me back to that memory. That's like all I see. And it's really nice. And now I'm like, oh, I want to go to Arizona. That looks beautiful. I've never been, but it looks really beautiful from what I'm being shown and what I feel being in that environment. So thank you for sharing that. Okay. There we go. One more just final release there. Just moving everything out that doesn't need to be there. Any extra debris, just moving that out. Releasing and letting that go. And it's a shedding that's taking place. It's like this energy is just falling away really nice and easily. How are you feeling?
Good. I'm sitting on an aluminum seat.
Oh, you're cutting out a bit. Sorry, what did you say?
I was making a joke. I'm doing good.
Okay. Something about aluminum seat, like it's a hard seat. I'm assuming it's not the most comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's great. Thank you so much, Alex. Thank you for being here and for your continued support of my work online.
Oh, yeah.
I always notice that you're there. Hello. Hello. That's your son, I guess. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
He's
awesome.
my fish. All right, dolphin.
Well, there's another animal that's with us, the dolphin. Love it. All right. Thank you so much, Alex. Okay. Okay. All right. Who have we got left? We have Janine. Janine. There you are. Hello. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for being here. All right. Are you all set for the clearing?
I am ready.
Okay, let's do it. So I'm just going to start connecting now. Okay, Janine, you have a big aura. It's really wide and powerful. So it's not like, just around the body. It's very, very open and expanded. And I love to see that because it's this very, what's the word I want to say here? Like it's very strong. It's a strong force field that you have. So that's good. So let's see what's needing to be cleared here. you feel like a powerful person. I just want to say that, like you, like very direct. Just energetically, that's what I'm getting. Very direct. And in the negative sense, that might come through as like hard-headed or stubborn.
Yeah, it does. Telling it like it is without pulling any punches, guilty.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. And I really love that because, you know, I mean, as when it's tempered with being spoken from the heart, it's so powerful. And that's what I really take away from this, is that your energy is powerful and you direct it very assertively, which is fantastic. So let's see if there's anything here in the heart chakra that's needing to be brought up, cleared, released, acknowledged, honored, anything like that. So I'm just going to kind of dig around in here. Don't mind me. Okay, so there it is underneath. Because the first thing I see is like this warrior woman. Like you've got your shields up, you've got your power, your armor on. You're like, come at me, you know. And that's fantastic because that's a part of who you are. It's a big part of who you are. Underneath that, I'm like, okay, I want to see what's underneath, because it can be something a little different. And underneath there, specifically, if I can get my words out, specifically in the heart chakra, there's the guarding happening. So guarding. And it's not so much posturing in the sense that you're pretending to be something you're not. You're pretending to be powerful because you actually are powerful. You are. I can see it. Your aura is big and strong. It's more so that there's always going to be that little vulnerable part. We all have it. It's what allows us to really connect to other people, because our vulnerability is actually where intimacy can begin to grow. And the vulnerability is a strength, because if we are too afraid, or, you know, there's resistance to being vulnerable, then we're not actually developing that courage muscle. And it is a muscle. We develop our courage muscle and our strength by being vulnerable. And you've done a really good job up until this point of sort of sidestepping a little bit of that vulnerability.
Yeah, it was very purposeful. Like I came in with just a shit ton of trauma and it was about compartmentalizing it and keeping it out of my consciousness. That's what the walls were for.
Okay.
And when I got activated in 2017, it just all came in and it was like I went psychotic. It was intense.
Oh, wow.
So, and then like probably 4 years later, or when that happened in 2017, I had like all this, I was like completely activated. All my superpowers were on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was getting like hearing things and like weird stuff. And like 4 years later, I find your videos, and like some of the stuff I was hearing was like to make sure I listened to a certain video, and it was the blueprinter video. And I was like, oh God, my life makes sense now. I'm like, I just have a lot of stuff to recode. So yeah, and now like I feel like I'm in a year where I'm moving through the third eye chakra. So I've got like this chakra to go to detangle all the stuff that's been in the body. Mm-hmm. And it's just like now I'm kind of shifting into more of the heart space. So it's just, there's nuggets that I just don't know how to find. So that's why I was like, this is perfect.
This is perfect. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for being here and for having the courage to step into the unknown by showing up here in this group setting and being vulnerable. That's exactly what you needed, and you did it. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm totally not afraid to do anything. I'm just like, let's do it. What is it? Bring it to me. I just go do it.
I know. Yeah. I can feel that in your energy. You're very, like, the word is gung-ho.
Yeah.
Very gung-ho. And I love it, because there's a timid part of all of us. And sometimes it's bigger, or sometimes it's smaller. And the timid part of me really admires the gung-ho part of you and wants to emulate that because it's so amazing. And blueprinter, okay, that makes sense. That's why your aura is so big.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very
There was
common.
There was a lot.
Yeah, when I work with blueprinters, when I look at them at soul level, especially during Reiki sessions, I do see their auras are huge, and the image of like their higher self, if you want to call it that, is often not a figure. It's like just a big vast energy.
Yeah.
It's not like a particular body type or anything, or an image.
Well, my higher self is anchored through Antares too, so it's very multidimensional. It's like I haven't even sussed out the beginning of everywhere that it's at right now. It's just
well, and
the
that's
journey's just starting. It's incredible. Yeah.
It's all you need to know is that you are this very powerful, very strong-willed soul, and you're here to really not beat around the bush. You are here to be direct, to effect change. That's why you're here. That's why being timid or flying under the radar just wouldn't serve your purpose here. You didn't come here to do that or to be that, because that's not who you are, and that's not what you're doing here. So
it's like TikTok, we've got a planet to shift. Let's do it.
Yeah, you're not pussyfooting around. You're like, this is happening.
Yeah, we're doing it in this lifetime.
So thank you for that, because we need that push, right? We need somebody as that motivator, like when we're at the gym and they're saying, come on, like 10 more reps, you can do it, you got to do it. Like, you're there to really drive the collective on. So thank you for that. So let's give your heart a little bit of love and compassion to help to do that job. In a way that is the most effective, because it's coming from the authentic heart-centered space. Okay. There we go. So I'm just activating this beautiful ball of light in the center of your chest, and it's spinning slowly, faster and faster and faster. And as it picks up speed and continues to spin, it's putting off more and more light. It's like a power source, an energy source. Not that you really need more power, you've got a lot of it, but it's just clearing out any of that hesitancy that could have come from specifically past lives, is what I'm seeing here. Past lives, both in human form and elsewhere. There's a lot to kind of connect here as a whole. And when this ball of light is shining there, it's spinning in all different directions. So it's not just like this, it's like this all over. And as it's spinning and emitting that light frequency out, it's kind of calling into consciousness all of these parts of the self. So even if you don't have the mental conscious awareness of it, at soul level, you're gaining consciousness of those parts and reconciling, i.e. reconfiguring, bringing it back together. Blueprint designer, interesting. I heard in my head blueprint designer.
That's hilarious, because I literally have a degree in architecture that I never used. And when I was going through the psychosis phase, like I would, especially in July, because the sun transits my Saturn. July is usually the most intense month. And I was going through this cycle of like mental spinning and like trying to just clear. It was so wild, and
a lot.
The line of thought led me to, but I have a degree in architecture, but I'm not an architect. And I was like, damn it. And it's like something let off a gas pedal, like something was pushing me to have the realization. And once I said it, I was like, huh. And then when I found your video, I was like, oh, I'm a blueprinter, not an architect.
Well, it's kind of the same thing, because they are architects.
I know, but it was just funny because it was like, I needed to know that to recognize moment. It in the video.
Yes, exactly. And the designer, the fact that literally a designer, I think that's so funny. So I just want to touch on what these are, just to give you a little refresh, because I said that in the video there, but the blueprint designers are responsible for taking the vision of the originators and making it beautiful. So they're highly creative souls that thrive on artistic self-expression. They're very rare to find. Actually, I think you're probably one of the first that I've ever encountered. I've worked with tons of blueprint technicians and blueprint, what are the other ones? The ones that clear.
The
forget it.
recoders?
Yeah, they're the ones who deal with the real dark stuff. I work with them a lot because they need help to clear, and that's what I do. But yeah, I've never actually seen a designer, I don't think so.
I feel like I've shifted it in this lifetime though, because I did feel like a recoder. All the stuff that I was clearing through, it's like I've got to be a recoder.
Well, all
Like
blueprinters.
and then it's like literally I started having dreams where it's like it went from a train engineer to like this conductor. Right. You see where it was like this platinum telephone pole goes slam on a train track. And I was like, oh, I think I just shifted something really big. I'm not sure what it is yet. So that's probably what it is.
Definitely. All
wild.
blueprinters, no matter what specific type, are karmically tied to the progression of humanity, because you helped to create the structure for the soul to come into the physical body. So blueprinters of all kinds are karmically tied, and therefore you're clearing more karma than the average bear. Right? So there's going to be things that you will have to kind of deal with at the collective level. It's not personally yours, it's collective stuff. So it's important that you don't take it on and make it personal. For somebody else, that would be a form of spiritual bypassing. If they're not a blueprinter, they're saying it's not me, it's the collective. That wouldn't be helpful. It's the opposite for you. We need to understand that it's not actually yours. You're doing it for the whole, and to keep that objective perspective viable so that you don't get tossed into the mix and really disoriented, because that's what can happen with blueprinters. And that's probably where the psychosis came from as well. I've seen that a couple of times with blueprinters too, specifically because you're tossing yourself into the mix of all this karma and all this collective stuff. And it's really easy to get carried away. And,
and I have Pluto in the 11th house. It makes my chart make so much sense. Like my birth
collective transformation and healing. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
At a deep subconscious level.
Karmic.
I was like,
yeah. Nailed it. Yeah.
Awesome.
So for designers, it's really important to create. It's really important to design, to express yourself through your art. So distinct points of view and perspectives that can be displayed through art is really crucial, because that's your way of imparting those codes of information and knowledge into a physical form, especially if you're doing it in like architecture and actual design. That's amazing. So
that's hilarious, because I've been sitting here thinking like I should design like sonically resonant houses.
Yes, you should.
Like people walk in and like it just is harmonious from top to bottom. It's like 100%. That would be really awesome. How do I do that?
Yeah, so you'll find a way, because you have the information there. You just have to find a way to channel it out and get it out. Very because cool. You have that capacity. The dysfunctional side of this soul blueprint is, or this soul type or group of origin, what have you, is getting lost in their art. So not actually doing anything or implementing. It's really important to focus on what you can create and not get sidetracked with the logistics of how to do it, or the mundanities of life and the routines that kind of take up your time and attention. It's really important that you focus on the bigger plan when it comes to your art, your design, and what that's going to provide for the collective. So yes, better housing is going to be so crucial, because as humans, the type of housing we're doing now is okay, but it doesn't really do much for us energetically. It could be so much better. Right? Imagine you went into your house and it acted as an energy vortex that allowed you to replenish yourself.
Yes.
What a concept. You can do that.
In with the north, south, east, west. Yeah. Like with the ley lines. Yeah. All that stuff. Yeah.
That would be amazing. And there have been people in history who have done that. Created temples on sacred lines. Yep. They've created architecture. The pyramids is a great example of that, certain temples and things. But if you could make that more accessible to everyday people in the form of a home, oh my God, how revolutionary would that be if everyone was living in those homes? Amazing. Indeed. So the key is just not to get distracted with the physical human aspects of life. Don't let yourself get bogged down and that kind of squash your flame or your passion of creativity. Just go with the creativity and express it in any way that feels right for you, because that's really giving back to the whole. That's really important. Yeah.
I feel like I'm starting to move into that phase. Like money's always been such an issue. And I know it's been tied to like energetically to like karmic stuff, but I'm like, something's gotta shift at some point, because I'm just like going head first into all this work. I'm like, let's do it.
Yes, as you
It's like,
do.
there's something else that I need to be doing here. Let's go do that.
Yes, and there's many artists here who can relate. Alex is an artist as well. I would consider
Yes.
myself an artist as well. Anyone else who resonates as an artist, that old archetype of the starving artist, no, does not serve us, does not empower us, does not allow us to shine our light. Why do you think they constructed that in the first place? To keep the artists down and in lack, because you can't really shine your light as effectively if you're in lack.
Right.
So as you step into your purpose with full faith and trust, and you're grounded and feeling safe and secure, that avenue is going to open up. The abundance that you need, the support systems that you need, those are going to show up. And it's really a process of, again, trusting your heart to guide the way. Like literally follow your heart.
Right.
Follow your heart. It's going to guide the way. It will not steer you in the wrong direction. You just need to trust it. And that's where that vulnerability comes in, because it's taking a leap of faith.
Yeah.
A big one. So that's
Yeah.
why you're here, is to kind of help with the activation, is going to give you the internal resources to be able to take that leap of faith so that you can start to move forward with trust. The most important thing is trust. Because you're here for a
I
reason.
do trust it, because I know it's like I've had enough experiences where I'm like, okay, this is the thing. Okay, I'll find a way to do it, right? Because like I said, it's always usually monetary. That's the thing. Like, you need to go to Knoxville and get biotuning. Okay, well, let's bring the money in. Where's the money going to come from? I'm happy to drive down there. Let's go do it, right? But the synchros always show up, and then it's like, well, you got to figure out how to get yourself there. So yeah, I trust it. It's just
Trust and effort.
Find, where's the avenue? So I think I'm moving into like what that thing is, like as we speak. It's like, and it's just having fun and designing like graphic design stuff. And it's like, I think this could be lucrative in a crazy kind of way. And I was just like so happy last night. I'm like, I made my first t-shirt. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. So it's like just the doors just like open,
all
and just
up.
go play. Yeah. Yay.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
That, Janine. You're so welcome. So let me just double check, make sure that we've got everything there. Yeah. That's some bomb A energy. Real nice. Good. Because it's really expanding out all through the heart. And that it's filling
in my body. Yeah, it's really weird. Because
it's
like
your aura.
I get energetically tuned, I feel what it's doing in my body now. It's just, I'm just that dialed into it at this point. I'm like, okay, it's like moving up through my nose. Cool.
Exactly. Well, most of the blueprinters are pretty sensitive, because you have to be. One other side thing about blueprinters is that they can struggle with the emotional aspects of life, because blueprinters created this. So definitely more mentally oriented beings, and being in the human
I'm a Libra.
We're very so air, all mind. Yeah, exactly. So the emotional aspects, where the emotions meet the body, can sometimes be a little bewildering to blueprinters in general. So if you can feel and sense energy, just stick with that. And then through that, you'll be able to move emotion by proxy almost, because sensation and emotion are pretty tied together. So if you can feel the energy moving, you can move the emotion as well. Just
I got into emotion code, and that was my foot in the door for doing the clearing. Like, it makes logical sense to me, and I feel it in the body, and then I just move it. So the emotion doesn't have to come fully in, because it's usually not mine.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it's not mine.
Yeah.
A lot of it's ancestral. So
and especially with the money stuff, that's very collective, right? We're a collective consciousness that's really been programmed with the whole monetary thing. So you're clearing that as well for the collective. So thank you for doing that, because we all need it. We all benefit from that. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I just need to do a full session with you. I just wanted to see, like, do a shorter session, but I think I just need to jump in and do the record stuff, because I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah, if you're interested in that, because we'll find specific karma, we'll look at where you're at now, we'll look at what your primary and secondary energy are. So that'll give you an indication of how specifically you can start to work with energy more efficiently. And then the soul group of origin, which we already know. But yeah, if you're interested in that, just through the website, and I look forward to connecting further.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, I think we're getting to the end here. Last one we have is Oana.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, beautiful soul. Am I saying your name right? I just want to double check.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Oana is a longtime client. We've been working together doing Reiki, doing Akashic, all sorts of stuff together. So, but we've always done it remotely. So this is the first time I actually get to connect with you on a more one-to-one level. I'm excited about that. So thank you for joining today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Okay. And we just did a session not too long ago too. So I'm interested to see kind of what comes up in regard to this specific clearing and activation. So let's go ahead and start connecting. Yeah. Yeah, that session we just did, what was it? When was it?
Last week, I think.
Yeah, last week. Was it Reiki?
It was a Akashic checkup, I think.
Akashic checkup, right? Okay. I couldn't remember, and I usually have my files out here, but I put them all away. Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm seeing here in the heart chakra is actually pretty good. There's not too much to clear here for you, because we've been working on that for a while, all the energy centers. So there's not too much to clear here. There's like this almost like aurora borealis that I'm seeing in the front of the heart chakra. So it's being projected out like this, and it's like a projection screen of this beautiful sort of waving energy. And the aurora borealis is where cosmic matter comes in through the poles and interacts with our atmosphere. So it feels like you've got cosmic energy coming in through the heart chakra and interacting with your energy body, and it's beautiful. It's creating this magic here. I love that. So I don't really need to do too much in the way of clearing. You're already pretty prepped and prepared for the activation to come in. So I'm just going to do a quick sweep from the top of the head all the way down to the bottom of the feet, making sure that the root chakra is nice and grounded so that that activation can come in. But it feels like I'm getting cosmic energy. It's like out of this world. And it's beautiful. Okay. Okay, just a little bit here. It's just a teeny tiny bit coming up from the heart into the throat. A little tiny line of energy that I'm actually going to pull up and out through the top of the head, so that that little tiny bit just doesn't need to be there. So I'm just going to move that out. And readjust the alignment just a little bit. Because everything's pretty good. It's just a tiny little tweak. And that should be good. Okay. Well, that's so interesting. This is super random, and I don't even know if this is at all related, but Oana, have you ever been to Paris?
No, it's funny. I actually wanted to go this spring in June, sorry, but I changed my mind last minute and went somewhere else.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know why, but Paris just came up. So maybe that's somewhere that you're meant to go visit eventually, because it's got some kind of an energetic something for you. There's something there in Paris for you, and it could be just a synchronicity or a fated meeting or an experience that will serve you in some way, but Paris. So all I got was
Okay.
Paris, just so
I
you
wrote
know.
it down.
So that'll be fun. It feels like it's a very aligned energy. So in divine timing, you don't need to force it. Eventually, you'll go there, visit, and receive what you needed to receive from Paris. Beautiful. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Let me just double check. Yeah, okay, I'm just arcing the toroidal field out from the crown chakra all the way down to the feet and back up and through. So really just getting you pumped up really and prepared, because we're going to go into the activation pretty quick here because the only person who was left is Sashana, and she's not actually here right now. So she's just opting for the remote activation and clearing, which is fine because I've worked with her so many times that that's really easy to do. Okay, so everybody has done the clearing. Thank you guys for holding space as we went through that. Let's see if everybody's going to pop back on here for the activation. But again, you don't have to have the activation consciously to receive it. It's going to come either way. And then how you integrate it is totally up to you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the activation. So I'm going to just clear my energy from all of the connections we just did. Make sure that I'm really nice and anchored because this one's going to be big. Oh, they're reminding me to grab the Moldavite. So if you have Moldavite, you can hold it now for the activation, or any crystals or anything that you feel drawn to. Yay, crystals, crystals, crystals. I love crystals. They just make me happy. I was one of those little kids that always found rocks and brought them home and loved them as if they were people. And I still do that. Who am I kidding? I still find rocks and sticks that I like. Can't help it. All right. Okay. So just going to give you guys a second to get settled. Is everybody ready? Good, 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 good. Okay. All right. Let's jump into it. So here we go. Bringing in the activation now, creating a direct line from source to the open and receptive heart chakras of all present for this group session. We welcome unconditional, divine love, and we open our arms, our hearts, and our minds to the magic that this divine love is. We welcome this love into our heart space, and we willingly will use this love to love ourselves and others as they are an extension of the self. We are love. We came from love. We will return to love. Love is not just an emotion experienced through the physical being. It is a state of being. It is a consciousness. It is. Remember who you are, where you come from, and what you came here to be. Not to do, to be. For this is the way that we express divine love, not through our doing, but through our being. Each one of you here today is sacred. Each footstep upon the earth that you take is sacred. Each hand that you hold is blessed. Each heart that you open is awakened to the true essence of their being. As you, the being of love that you are, reminds them. Thank you for this service, reminding the energy of love, memory within yourselves awakens. Love courses through your being as electricity courses through the wires in your walls. All you must do is turn on the light. And enjoy the love. Okay. So the activation is almost complete. Just finishing up, bringing in a few more waves. Really remind yourself to lean back and open up your chest and allow all of this energy into your heart. You've cleared this beautiful space for all this love to come in. And they said, gather it up like a hungry, hungry hippo. All this love is raining and showering down. Gather it to you, bring it to you, bring it in to you. Gobble it up, for we are existing in a world that is love starved. We have been love starved. And we're hungry for nourishment. So allow yourself to enjoy the bountiful feast of love that is before you. May you find great joy in the sustenance that it provides. And may you carry that with you and share that with others, for it is limitless, it is infinite, it is abundant. We thank you for your participation today. Go forward and share your blessings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Okay. We did it, you guys. Good job. I'm so thankful for all of you for showing up today and doing this work for yourself and for all of us, because we're one. We're all one. And I love you all as I love myself. Okay, so just gotta like shake it out a little bit. How's everybody feeling? So now that we're kind of coming back into things here, I'm just integrating still. Anybody?
I could feel some crown tingles and my chest getting a bit warm here and there. It was subtle, but it was nice.
Good, good. And that'll integrate as you go on too. So speaking of integration, just so you guys know, energy usually integrates within 24 to 48 hours initially. So that's the period where it starts to come in. It can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how your process is and how you integrate and apply. So just be open to that as well over the next little while. And, oh, Nancy, I see your beautiful face. Yay!
It worked. It worked.
Yay! So that heart energy got you on camera. Oh my God, I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful radiance with us, because that was what we were talking about. It was showing up, and you did it. You showed up. Ah, yes. Get a pat on the back for yourself too, remember. Good. Yes. Thank you. Oh, you guys, I'm just so overwhelmed right now. I'm feeling really, really, really just floating on a cloud 9 over here. And I love you guys all so much. So, so much. So does anybody have any closing questions, comments, anything that's come up that you'd like to share with the group? Anything at all? Feel free to unmute. Yes, Alex, go ahead.
You've touched on my artwork before in previous lives. You picking up anything on that?
Oh, not specifically. And I'm a little too tapped out right now to
Sure.
do any additional specific readings, because I'm like buzzing right now. I'm having a hard time even just communicating.
And I ask also because I might have missed something that you had said while you were doing my reading too. So that's why I asked.
The reading was really just specific to the imagery that your dad was sharing with us. But just so everyone knows here, Alex is a really talented artist, and he draws race cars and really intricate, very detailed, almost like 3D looking artwork. And it's pretty amazing. So if you want to check it out, do you want to share your handle? You can put it in the chat.
Yeah, I'll share it in the chat.
Yeah. And if anybody else has any services, anything you're working on, anything you'd like to share with the group, feel free to post that in the chat as well, or just to talk about it here, because this is all recorded. And so you'll be able to go back and watch it again as well.
Well, it's not going to show up recorded. So it's motorart_27 on Instagram, and then motorart27.com.
Perfect. Thank you.
Site. But I noticed that Nancy said she was living in Portugal. And I was like, I actually did an art show over there. She's like, oh, that's right near Porto where you did it and everything. So it was cool to see that too.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, your art is amazing, and it travels throughout the world, and it is light encoded. We've talked about that before too. Any artist who does artwork or creation or design or anything, really you encode your light into whatever you create, and people will pick up on that and really benefit from it. So thank you for doing that and putting it out in the world.
Thank you.
Awesome. Shane, you wanted to say
something? Yeah. I definitely feel way more calmer. And it's interesting because I guess been going through a lot. But I mean, most recently I'm having a hard time. I mean, I got involved with a girl, didn't work out, and it's been killing me for a while.
And that's right in the heart. Right in the heart.
And anyways, it's not bothering me right now. Yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that. And if you'd like additional support, you know where to find me.
It's a crazy story too. I mean, I'll type it out and send it to you.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah, if you don't want to share the whole thing here, you don't you can email.
I don't want to take up too much time. That's all. So
where are we at here in terms of time? When do we start? At 2, 3, 4? Actually, no, we're only 23 minutes over, but we are over. I know myself. I know I'm going to go over every time. But yeah, if you want to share that with me, because we talked a little bit about, I think, some of it with the last session we did.
It's something separate.
Oh, yeah. This is different. Oh, okay.
Ridiculous amounts of coincidences, stuff that, yeah, I don't know. You might be interested. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah.
Please reach out to me. And anyone who wants to reach out to me, you can always reach me at services.ToKittyandBeyond@gmail.com. You guys will all have had the emails from me coming from that address, other than the Wix one, which comes from my website. So you can always reach me there if you're interested in sharing. I'm always willing to listen. So thank you. Stephanie, you wanted to share something? I saw you had put your hand up earlier.
Yeah, I do sound healing over Zoom and awesome. Shamanic journey meditations with my guides and team and your guides and team. So, and they just guide me through it. And so I'm happy to offer that to anyone in this group gratis. If you need a little adjustment or help sleeping or just want to experience transition, you know.
That's so generous of you.
Yeah. Well, it helps me too, right? Because I get the same dose. So
true, very true.
I'll put my email address in the chat, and then.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
thank you, Stephanie. Oh, that's so kind of you. Thank you for sharing that and for offering that to the group. That's really, really transformational. Sound healing is fantastic. It's so vibrationally clearing and activating. So it's kind of like an all-in-one. And shamanic healing is really powerful. So thank you. Yes, because we all have our own unique gifts. And when we share them together, we make the whole, right? Because one person can only do so much. We really do have to incorporate everything, every skill and every talent and every natural essence of each and every one of us. So thank you, Stephanie. Okay, anybody else?
I just wanted to share really quickly.
Yeah,
this guy came over and sat on my lap for the activation, and when you finished, he was like, "Okay, I'm done." Oh, that was it.
ToKitty and Beyond, attracting all the kitties to the yard.
My little star kitty. So cute. Thank you so much. It was wonderful.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your presence and your power and your strength and every contribution that every single one of you has brought to this group, because the activation is really an extension of all that you already are. And I can't wait to go back and re-listen, because as I'm channeling, I don't really know what I'm saying. So then afterwards, I'm gonna have to go back and re-listen. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go re-listen to the activation itself. Oh, okay. Anybody else? Oh, yes.
Sorry, the recording is going to be emailed to us?
Yes, thank you for asking, Alex. Yes, I'm going to upload this as a private video onto my YouTube channel so that only those who I send the link to will have access, and I'll send out a bulk email to all of you guys who are here, and you'll have that link to the video so you can go back and watch it. And eventually I also want to be able to share. So maybe not this time, but I would like to get a group together who consents to me video recording it and then sharing it on my YouTube channel live so that other people would see kind of what we're doing here and also kind of interact with that energy. So you don't feel pressured, any of you, to give me consent, but if you would like that and you're okay with that, I would love to do that eventually, if not with this group, then with another. Yes.
I'll do it.
Stephanie's a yes. Madeline's a yes.
I'll do it.
Yes.
I got yes.
Yes.
Nancy's a yes.
Yes.
Okay. Alex, Alex, did you?
Sure. Yep.
If it's okay, you don't have to.
Fine.
Okay. And Oana?
Yes, I'll say yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. All right. So we've got
Better.
yeses all around. Thank you guys, because I
That's
really
how
wanted to
good
share
you
this.
are. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. I really
Yeah, that
appreciate
can be
that.
so easy sometimes.
Yeah, you never know until you ask, and I was scared to ask because I'm like, I don't want to put people out. I don't want to put people on the spot, but something just kind of told me to say it. Got to speak our truths, right? I feel you, Nancy. My primary energy is throat chakra, so I definitely have had to do some work with that. Well, thank you so much, guys. So you'll not only have the advanced link, the private link to rewatch this right away as soon as it's uploaded, but I'll do whatever editing that I need to do and then share this later this week as well on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it there. Thank you so much, guys. I love you so much. Have a great rest of your day, anchoring the energy. Drink lots of water. Get rest if you feel tired. Move your body if you need to move. Whatever you need, just feel into it. Okay?
Beautiful. Thank you, Siobhan.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
You're so
Thank you.
welcome. Okay.